Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansberg. Got a very special guest from San Diego, California, Bill Rabello. Bill, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Michael. How about yourself?
Awesome, Bill. Look forward to getting to your story in just a second. Got to pay the bills, though. And at Investor Fuel, they are the sponsor of the Real Estate Pros Podcast. At Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Bill, are you living the dream in San Diego? What's it look like? What's the time? What's the temperature out there right now?
It's not a rough place to live. It's actually overcast today. We might get some rain, but it's probably about 68 right now.
All right. Now, are you a lifelong Californian? Have you been out there all your life?
I am. I grew up here in San Diego in the small little sleepy beach town of Ocean Beach. In the 70s, it was all bikers and hippies, and now it's all gentrified, but still a fun, quirky little town. I've since moved inland. I live in Santee now, but yeah, San Diego my whole life.
San Diego your whole life. Okay, but before we get into your real estate career and what you're doing, tell us a little bit about how you got started in business. What did you do for a living before real estate? How did that prepare you for what you're doing now? Tell us about it.
Well, so the early part of adulthood, I did a lot. I worked in, construction. I worked, you name it, I've done it. I was a chef for a while. I did a lot of different things. I worked for the railroad for a number of years, and then decided to switch into the computer field. Done that for the majority of my life, and everything from desktop support all the way up to network engineering, and worked on cyber teams, working most recently for the Navy as a federal employee. But I've always been interested in real estate. My grandfather, he moved my mom and uncle out here in the 1940s. Actually, they moved out here, and he just started building homes, and that's kind of how I got into it. We had a couple of properties that I helped to manage, pretty much ever since I was old enough to hold a paintbrush. That's how I got my start. And then just working in tech, it's it's kind of a vagrant job. You move from job to job a lot, work with a lot of people, same thing. And I realized, it's not like our parents, we work somewhere, build up a retirement. And so I knew that kind of real estate was my way probably forward for having a retirement for myself. And that's kind of how I got started. Just really had the interest and liked real estate, and thought that would be the way I could build it up and maybe even do that full time at some point. And that's kind of where I'm at now.
So obviously W-2 job, and then you said, okay, in order to be able to build some wealth, we needed to think creatively and think about different things. And you grew up around real estate, families was in the building, and then, but what was it maybe during your your W-2 life. What kind of education? What were you listening to? Were there some books or podcasts that you got a hold of that steered you where you're at now, or how did that play out?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, so here in San Diego, we have a pretty active RIA club. It's one of the oldest ones, longest running ones in the country. It's called SDCIA, San Diego Creative Investors Association. And I don't know, early part of the 2000s, I started attending these. They have a meeting once a month. And so I would go kind of off and on. And I really kind of attribute that to being the start of my education in real estate, really. And then through there, I met, kind of some different gurus, sort of been through the guru mill myself. Um, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dave Lindahl. He does multifamily. So I went through some of his training back around 2010, 2012, back then. Um, Got kind of close to a couple of properties, but never ended up getting one that way. But really got a good education through there. And let's see who else. More recently, I had heard Marco Rabello, and I kind of liked the way he was talking about creative financing, and so I started doing single family stuff here in town, and I've been kind of running that business for about the last 3.5 years on the side, and while I've had some success, it just never scaled the way I was hoping to because. We just have a lot of equity here. The houses really doubled in value during COVID. And so even somebody that was fairly motivated would just rather hold off and, sell on the MLS for full price, which
Right.
I get, I understand. But so then I was selling a fourplex that my grandfather had passed down to, and it was between my cousin and I. And so we had some people move out, some long-term tenants. We were going to need a lot of money to put into it. It was in a part of town, doesn't get the best rent. So we decided to sell. And I've always been interested in storage and had decided, well, hey, I'm going to, maybe I'll move into storage now. This was after looking at some duplexes around town here, just nothing past. I mean, I think the one, if it was fully occupied and had no problems, I'd make like $18 a month on. Yeah, so it was pretty
Oh,
easy choice to, and it was actually kind of during that
barely
time.
buy lunch. Yeah.
Exactly. So, in kind of searching for stuff online about storage, I came across AJ Osborne, who's pretty famous in that area, and he has a podcast, and he does his some education on it as well, and that's really how I got my start. And so I ended up using that money to invest. I partnered up with him on one of his deals, and I was doing a 1031 exchange. I was running into really close timelines, and I was a little hesitant to kind of pull my trigger on my first one, with that money because I wanted to make sure that that was something I could make work for me. So did that. That's been a great deal already. I mean, I really learned how cost segregation works, where you can get bonus depreciation on things. And I mean, I got a third of my investment back just in taxes, and we haven't even pulled any money out of the deal yet. So we're still stabilizing it, but really showed me how powerful that, real estate in general, but, especially commercial real estate can be. And then really when it comes to commercial real estate, I mean, for me, by far, I think the best asset really is the self-storage. It goes through the downturns. It's good on the upturns, and it's one of the most, I think, stable assets in real estate.
So you got steered into self-storage, got your first deal done. Is it local to you, or is that a state, or what's that
Oh,
look
it's
like?
actually up in Idaho.
Idaho. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, self-storage is one of those verticals that that a lot of people have talked about over the last couple of years, and there's a lot of gurus and there's a lot of doers. There are a lot of people that do it, and
Yeah,
and the people that let you partner in on the deals is a sign that they're actually getting leads, closing
yeah,
the owners, and
for
making
sure.
sure that they solve the problem. So is self-storage what you're leaning into?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's my whole focus right now. I mean, I do some other stuff. I do a little bit of tax deed and lien investing, but really this is my focus. I mean, it's real estate's one of those things like there's a million different ways you can go, and a lot of them are good, but my advice when people talk to me is just really you got to kind of pick one thing and go because it's easy to squirrel off in 50 different directions.
Right. And then one of the things we talked about in your pre-show is you worked for the federal government and recently, you took a deal. Tell us about that, and how did that launch you into kind of real estate, kind of maybe before you wanted to or full time? Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it was sort of my goal was this year to be able to walk away. I have, some rental properties that are bringing in, okay money, and have brought my finances down to where, we could hopefully do it by the end of this year. And my goal is also to, get one more uh, storage property. And if I was able to do that this year, I was going to walk away. And the they made this offer to federal employees that, if we could be basically take a deferred resignation and get bought out if we full pay and benefits till the end of September, which is the end of the fiscal year for the government. And so I sat down with my wife, we talked about it, and she just said, "Hey, when are you going to get another opportunity to do this?" Because I was trying to juggle both, and it was tough trying to do both things. And so, I took the leap of faith and hey, we'll see how it works out. I got a little bit of a runway here, and things are going good though. I've got some deal flow coming in, and I think it's just a matter of time till we close on that right property.
That's it. So tell us about that. Like now that you've got that runway, what are we doing day to day to kind of procure leads in the self-storage? And yeah, how does that all happening right now?
Well, so yeah, looking for leads is the big thing. That's probably my biggest focus right now. And I was really, really diving hard into, doing all the numbers on the deals too. That part, even if you're not the main numbers guy and if you're in a partnership, everybody needs to really understand it. And so, but yeah, so I got a membership with Crexy, and it's a good way to actually find owners and actually, if you find areas that you want to work in, and you can actually pull up information for the owners, and that's kind of what I've been doing and making calls and actually taking a page out of my single family uh, playbook and actually doing, sending out letters and been getting some returns on that, not better than I wasn't sure really what to get. I mean, I did all right with the single family stuff with letters, but didn't know. The other thing I'm going to do is getting ready to go on a road trip pretty soon. My buddy and I we're gonna go up through the kind of all the way up to the Pacific Northwest because really kind of the western states are where I'm buying. And so we're gonna make a run through and try to just meet with some owners and just talk shop with them and see where that goes. See if they know what he's selling in their area, or maybe if they're interested. And who knows, maybe I'll come back with a deal.
Yeah. All right. So are you going to hop on a motorcycle or hop on
No, we're gonna
no?
jump in my truck and do a road trip.
That'll be fun. So, but that's interesting because, people sometimes, they get squeamish, but the fundamentals are you got to talk to people and
Yeah,
you got to knock on the door. You got to make the phone call and find out. And you never know. I always tell people you never know when you're going to catch them because,
yeah,
Monday, everything's great. Tuesday life could have happened, and you made that call, and Monday they were the furthest away from ever selling any of their assets, but something happened Monday night, and Tuesday they're ready to do something. They're closer than they thought they were,
Yeah,
and you only know that by talking to people.
for sure.
So yeah,
And then planting those seeds for the future too, because they might not be ready now, but they might be in a few months or a year. You never know. But yeah,
yep.
the life's all about timing and being in the right place at the right time. And I won't be there by sitting at home.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So, Bill, you mentioned earlier that you did some single family stuff. Are you just buying to hold, or were you doing some fix and flips in San Diego?
Yeah, well, so my plan was to do some buy and hold, flip it, kind of flip as needed. I was trying to buy stuff that didn't really need too much work. I'm not a full flipper, but I do have some people that I would work with in that instance. But so mainly what I was looking for were nice looking homes where we could work out some sort of creative financing, and then I would turn around and sell them either lease option or owner financing. That's kind of what I do with my deed investing too, is those are all out of state. And so if I find a property, most of those I'll just kind of wholesale really. But if I find something that I want to keep and fix myself, I don't really want to be an out of state landlord. So I'll do owner finance on that so we can still get the passive income, but not have to be the day to day person there.
So one of the things about self storage facilities, obviously, you could get a small one, and you can get big ones that are millions of dollars.
Right.
How are you going about raising capital for your deals? Are you trying to do deals where you're the 100% owner and you're raising capital for maybe a loan for the purchase, or how are you structuring the future deals, or what would be best case scenario for you?
So right now, what I'm doing is partnering up with friends and family, and I've kind of set the stage for doing some syndications, but I'm not really quite ready for that yet. But I'm looking to partner up with some people right now. I have a couple of friends that I'm talking to that have it's all about having the right knowing your strengths and weaknesses. I recently read Who Not How, and it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things of you don't need to do it all yourself, and really you can't. I mean, this is definitely a team sport. So, I'm looking for somebody that's a lot better than I am at social media and being able to raise capital. But yeah, kind of for this next deal that I'm working on right now, we're looking to just bring in a little bit of just you know close friends and family, and then go from there.
Well, that's the best. And if you have obviously if you have a good relationship with your family, they trust you and they like you, and there's a benefit to that. You can show them a return, then everybody wins, which is great. So in the meantime, so what I'm thinking is deals come and, self-storage deals, for the guys that I know that do the deals, they come, but sometimes it's once or twice or three times a year, depending obviously on your deal flow and your marketing and things like that. Do you find yourself, hey, I am leaning hard into self-storage, but is there anything else you're going to be doing to generate income in real estate besides self-storage?
Yeah. I'm not giving up on the tax deeds. A matter of fact, next week is an auction in Indiana that I'm a part of. They have something special where you have these. They're actually a tax lien state. They're supposed to tax lien and tax deed states. They're particularly a tax lien state, but they have these ones that don't sell. They go in these special commissioner sales that each county does one a year. And Lake County is one of the bigger counties in Indiana, and their big sale of the year is coming up next week. So I've been been kind of gearing up for that. We'll see how it goes. It's the first time I've participated in one of those there, so we'll see. But yeah, my hope is to get something to just make a little bit of active income. Probably just flip something to some local contractors. Buy it low that it's in decent shape and needs some work, and flip it to somebody. That's kind of my goal with that.
Right now, how are you? How are you? I mean, taking a look at those properties. How are you looking at those? Do you have boots on the ground there? What's that look like?
Well, so I have a big list that we printed out and sorted through just for single family stuff. Um, the first thing was just kind of going through, bringing it up on the county website, looking at it on Google Maps, and hey, if it has a roof, I'm going to make that one green, and we'll come back and look at it. So
Yeah.
after I pared the list down, it was just sort of breaking it down, looking at all these, and then you know, s- just really reaching out to people that through like Fiverr stuff like that to find somebody like, hey, these are some properties I'm looking at. Can you go by and take some pictures of for me? Pay a few bucks to take pictures. I've talked to some local realtors. And that's a great resource actually, because you know, I'm going to need to work with a realtor to handle all the stuff there. So, they're more than happy to tell you, yeah, this neighborhood's good, stay out of there. This side of the tracks is good, that side, you don't want to even bother with. So yeah, it's doing that. So Paradise List, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm curious for this one. Uh, tax deeds are interesting because there's also a lot of over the counter sales in different states. So I'll probably start messing with that. It looks like Florida's got some options there that work out pretty well. But like I'm trying not to spread myself too thin right now because
Right. Yeah.
I'm also still doing my single family stuff. I've got letters that go out every week to like pre foreclosure lists and the expired MLS lists, and I have a lady that hand addresses my letters, and so it's that part's kind of on autopilot. I only need to spend maybe 2-3 hours a week on getting those out, and then whatever calls I get. But that's still active. I still get a decent amount of deal flow through that, and it's really helped me prepare for I think the storage side, because we're in really a kind of a great. It sounds weird to say this because of the interest rates being so high.
Yes.
It's really become a bit of a buyer's market in storage because people were getting incredibly crazy numbers over the last couple of years. And because a lot of people were moving actually from multifamily into storage, and they were
Right.
really overpaying for things, but still doing well because the interest rates were so low, and it's just such a good asset. You didn't even need to know what you were doing, really. But when interest rates went up, it took a while for the sellers to realize that they weren't going to get what they were going to get for these properties. So the chances of doing, owner financing, things like that are a lot better now. You can get them more money for the deal, and so it's kind of swung back in that direction. So I feel like these last couple of years of talking to so many, home sellers here have really kind of prepared me well for talking to these potential sellers in the storage side.
Yeah, I like it. And so the other thing that you're doing, though, you were in the tech sector for a long time. Now
Yes.
you're in real estate full time, and you're going to help people by writing a book about how to quit their W-2 job. Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So it's sort of both, like if that's what you'd like to do, it's a lot of advice on how to do that, but it's also advice for somebody that just, hey, I know I need this for my retirement. I understand that real estate is, a good foundational asset to put money into. And so the book's just good for learning how to do these different things. Like I feel like I've kind of done a little bit of everything. And so it's going to be fairly broad. I mean, I'm not going to go super deep into any of the topics, but somebody that wants to build up their retirement, they really need to know the language. They need to know what they're talking about to know if it is a good deal for that somebody's presenting to them. And then if it is something where you'd like to, break the shackles, as I like to say it, then it'll help you in that
The
too.
golden handcuffs, yes, the shackles,
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
bear trap. Oh, however you
Right.
want to adjudicate it.
Yeah, trading our time for money, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are trapped, and they need the stories to say, oh, somebody, if this guy could do it, this is how he did it, and this is the unglamorous and the glamorous things about it. So it's
Yeah.
always good to hear that perspective. Well, Bill, where can people find more about you on the socials? What does that look like? If they wanted to work for you, maybe they have a self-storage facility and they're like, I haven't talked to that guy. I need to sell mine, or maybe I need to partner up with him. Where can they find you at, Bill?
Yeah, well, so my company is American Residential Solutions, and my website is www.ars-properties.com. And then if you look for me, if you look up my name, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. And it's also American Residential Solutions has a Facebook page as well.
Awesome. Well, Bill, it's been awesome having you and learning more about you. And you're a success story. Somebody that does a W-2 and then takes action, has a deal. What that tells me is, oh, this is a rinse and repeatable process. I don't
Yeah,
have to go. I can choose to go back if I want to, but I don't have to. I've got other options,
right. For sure.
and that's available to people too. Other people can do that as well.
Yeah. Hey, our time's our best asset. We need to protect as much of it as we can, right?
Yes, sir. Time and focus is the best asset. That's a great way
Yeah.
to end it, Bill. Bill, thanks for being part of the Real Estate Pros podcast. Folks, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.